And there we go. Okay, welcome everybody to day 2 of the Forex for Absolute Beginners workshop. And today we are going to focus on using the MetaTrader app. Now, before we get started, can I have a yes in the chat? There are 23 of you on the call this evening, including some admins, to be fair. But how many of you have downloaded the MetaTrader app on your phones? Please put a yes in the chat if you've already done so. I'm counting. That's a lot of yeses. Good, very good. We are going to use that app this evening. So have your phone ready, have the app handy, because this evening we are going to use it. So to be clear, let's not worry about making profits or losses today. Today, the scope of today's session is learning how to use the app. Now, before we get into the app itself, I just have a few more concepts to teach you. So yesterday we looked at putting in long positions, also known as buy positions, and short positions, also known as sell positions. So this is just one of the things that we covered yesterday, okay? So in this particular case, we're looking at Euro USD. And if I had to enter a trade right now for a buy or for a sell, it would look something like this. However, in trading, we are helped by some additional tools that we're going to explore together this evening on MetaTrader. And I'm going to write them down. Buy limit, sell limit, buy stop, and sell stop. And I think before we start, it would be worth explaining what these things are. So sometimes in trading, and again, this really helps us out as traders. This really helps us out as traders because the functions I'm going to show you this evening actually make life easier for us as traders. We don't need to wait for something to happen. We can predict that it will happen. We can put in a delayed trade. This is known as a pending order. Okay, so these 4 things over here that I've just written down are called pending orders. So focus a little bit on this next part. Let's assume that I've identified a range over here. So I'm seeing that the price of Euro USD keeps bouncing off this zone. So I don't want to trade in a zone of consolidation. What I'm waiting for is for the price of Euro USD to break out of the zone. Now, one thing I can do, there's something in the chat, you can't see my screen. Let me just make sure. Can everybody else see my screen? Because I'm pretty sure I'm sharing it. Okay, so everybody can see my screen. So, all right. So as I was saying, this is, just for the sake of argument, a zone of consolidation. A zone of consolidation is where price isn't trending like this. In this case, this is a downtrend, but it's kind of bouncing off between 2 zones. Now, as a trader, I don't like trading in a zone of consolidation. But instead of waiting for the price of Euro USD to either break out of the zone downwards or break out of the zone upwards, I can put in a pending order. So what I'm going to show you now is an example of a sell stop. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I believe that if the price of Euro USD continues to drop below this point, it will keep crashing. So instead of waiting for the market to come down to that price, I can put in a pending order. I can put in a pending order for a sell stop. So a sell stop, you may want to write this down. I'm going to start with the lowest one, sell stop. A sell stop is when we expect price, when we want price to come down from where it currently is. And if it reaches that point, we expect it to drop even further. So this is a sell stop. Please write that down. Secondly, we have, so that's the sell stop covered. Now I want to give you the difference between a sell stop and a sell limit. A sell limit is slightly different. With a sell limit, I expect price to go up first before coming down. So for example, I imagine that price will come back up to the zone and then come back down. So I can put in a sell limit order up here. Expecting the price to go up first, trigger my trade, activate it, and then get the price to come down. So let's please clearly understand the difference between a sell stop and a sell limit. With a sell stop, I expect the price to come down, activate my trade, and keep dropping. Whereas with a sell limit, I expect price to come up first, activate my sell limit, and then come down. So please let me know in the chat if this is clear, the difference between a sell stop and a sell limit. Please type yes in the chat if you've understood this difference, or no if you'd like me to explain one more time. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, bunch of yeses and a no from Blessing. So Blessing, I'm going to do this one more time for your benefit. And I hope that you understand the second time. So currently, the price of Euro USD is at 1.05282. I have two options here. I'm either predicting that I'm going to wait for the price to stop fluctuating between these two zones, okay? And instead of just sitting here at my computer watching candlesticks move, I essentially put in a pending order for a sell stop down here. This means that this trade that I'm plotting right now is not active. It will only activate if and when the price of Euro USD drops to 1.04995. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, in my analysis, I believe that if the price of Euro USD reaches 1.04995, it will continue to drop. And in this particular scenario, I would open up my MetaTrader app. We're going to do this together this evening. Look for the sell stop option and put in something like this. In fact, if we have time, we might even use it on this example. With a sell limit, it's a different analysis. So as I was explaining, I'm seeing price fluctuate between these two zones where I've drawn this blue box. So let's say I say, okay, well, it looks like every time price comes up to here, it immediately rejects. Comes up to here, rejects. Comes up to here, rejects. So I might say, let me put in a pending order here. And in case price comes up there again, I expect it to reject, at least down to here. However, the price of Euro USD is at 1.05298. I need it to activate my trade at 1.05718. So 1.05718 is higher than 1.05313. In this case, I can't use a sell stop MetaTrader won't let me. You'll see it this evening. So then I put in a sell limit. So that, guys, is the difference between a sell stop and a sell limit. I can't make it any clearer than that. So if you still haven't understood, remember that I will record this, that this workshop is being recorded. So please go back to it, rewind it as often as you need to in order to fully understand it. In order to save time, guys, I just want you to understand that a buy stop is the same thing, just the other way around. So with a buy stop, let me clear all drawings. With a buy stop, the price is here now. So with a buy stop, I would expect the price to break out of the zone of consolidation that I identified. And if it breaks out, then my expectation is that it will continue going up. In this case, I would put in an order for a buy stop. If, on the other hand, I want to wait to see if price goes up, rejects again, and then come in over here, then I would do a buy limit. So let's imagine that the price is up here. I'm waiting for it to come down before going up again. Then I would put in a buy limit. So with a buy stop, the price needs to, the price of my pending trade needs to be higher than the current market price. Whereas with a buy limit, the price of my pending trade entry price needs to be lower than the current market price. So guys, this is the difference between a buy stop, a sell stop, a buy limit, and a sell limit. 1 second. Okay. So now, guys, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to join the session from my phone. And I'm going to turn on MetaTrader. So screen. Okay. So this is MetaTrader. You should all have this on your phones. Again, today we're just going to focus on Euro USD. And we're going to try a few things together. Now, if you have an iPhone, your interface might be slightly different to mine, but please don't worry because I'm going to talk you through what you see on an iPhone. So let's start with the important things. Your MetaTrader might not look exactly like mine because you've got the simple view in place. Some of you may have this on your screen. I don't like this. So if you want to change your view, all you need to do is tap anywhere on your screen, click on advanced view mode, and now you get this. I'm going to scroll down now to find Euro USD. It's right here. Okay. And I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to click on new order. So let's begin with a bit of a recap from yesterday. You'll notice I have the number 2 up here. This is my lot size. Yesterday, we talked about lot sizes. 0.01 is the lowest possible lot size that you can use on MetaTrader for. Okay, and if you remember yesterday, we said whenever we take a trade at 0.01 lots, 1 pip is 10 cents. Whenever we take a trade at 0.1 lots, 1 pip is $1. And whenever we take a trade at one standard lot, 1 pip is worth $10. Again, guys, it isn't always necessarily the case. Sometimes there's a slight difference depending on the currency pair. But for the purpose of this workshop and for the purpose of your understanding, let's just imagine that 0.01 lots is 10 cents a pip, 0.1 lots is a dollar a pip, and one standard lot is $10 a pip. So what do we see on screen? Well, first of all, at the very top of your screen, you'll find market execution. But if you tap on market execution, now you're going to see the options that I just talked to you about: a buy limit, a sell limit, a buy stop, and a sell stop. So for now, for our first example, let's leave it at market execution. The first thing that we always need to check is what lot size are we going to use? And if you remember from yesterday's trading session, I showed you how to use a position size calculator. I showed you how to calculate your lot size. And in fact, I think I'm going to show you one last time so we can take a trade together based on proper analysis. So let's imagine, okay, that I want to sell Euro USD. That's my entry price, market execution. I'll have a stop loss all the way up here. And I'll have a take profit all the way down here. Now, guys, I'm not doing any analysis. This is just a test. So please don't be crazy and take this trade because I haven't analyzed it at all. This is a workshop. It's just an example. Okay, but let's see. What is our stop loss in pips? 60 pips. So what's the next thing I should do now that I understand what my stop loss is? Can I have it in the chat, guys? I want to see who was paying attention yesterday. Once we've identified our stop loss, what is the next thing we need to do before we enter a trade? I'm going to open the chat and I hope to see some answers. So we've identified how big our stop loss is. What is the next step that we need to do now that we know what our stop loss is? I've opened up the chat. Risk to reward ratio, perfect. Now we need to make sure that this trade with a 60 pip stop loss still means we're only going to risk 2%. Now, for those of you that followed my instructions on the tutorial of how to download MetaTrader, I'm going to assume that you used the lowest possible demo account of $3,000. Okay? And we're going to risk 2% of $3,000. Guys, if you've chosen a different size account, then make sure that you open up your position size calculator on myforexbook.com. Put in the account size that you set up your demo account with. If you followed my instructions, the lowest possible size is $3,000. We're going to risk 2% of our account on this, and our stop loss in pips is 60.3. So 60.3 and calculate. There we go. So we can enter this trade at 0.1 lots, okay? Risking only $60, which is 2% of 3,000. Again, if you guys didn't follow my instructions and have a $100,000 account, that's totally fine. But don't expect to be making big bucks on a lot size of 0.1. So we now know that we're going to risk 0.1 lots of our account. So now let's move on to MetaTrader again. Okay. I'm going to change my lot size. So all I'm doing now, guys, and please do it with me. Find Euro USD, click on new order, go up to the top where you have the number here, okay? And change that number to 0.10. And I want you to press sell right now. Now, I want you to come back to the trade. So you can see the trade is now running live. But we haven't put in a stop loss, nor have we put in a take profit. So what I would like you to do now is press and hold Euro USD, click on modify order. Now on the left-hand side, you see a red line with a number of zeros. Over here is our stop loss. So the red line is the stop loss. The green line is the take profit. Now we entered this trade. If you entered this trade with me at the same time, your entry price should be written here, 1.05264. For those of you with iPhones, it's possible that you don't have this price listed up here, but it doesn't matter. If you need to find out at which price you entered the trade, all you need to do is look here. So notice I have two prices. One price is static, it doesn't move. The other price is liquid, it's moving right now. The difference is this: the price on the left is the price at which I entered my trade. The moving price on the right is the current market price. So the first thing we need to do, guys, is put in a stop loss. Okay, so I want you to press and hold Euro USD. I want you to click on modify order. Come up to the numbers in red. And we're going to put in a 60 pip stop loss. So guys, this is a test. I'm asking a question and I would like to see answers in the chat. My entry was 1.05264. What should my stop loss be if I want a 60 pip stop loss? If you don't remember my price, I entered right here, 1.05264. 60 pips stop loss. Remember, we're selling. What's the right answer? I've opened up the chat and I'm going to wait for an answer. Can Laurent, can you give the full price, please? 1.0586, that is correct. So 1.0586, and to be very precise, 864. That's it, Sylvie, correct, 1.05864. So that is our stop loss. For a take profit, I want you to put in 1.04264. 1.04264, which is 100 pips. Yeah, the difference between 1.05264 when I entered and 1.04264. That is my target. And then I'm going to click modify. So now let's take a look at the trades. If I tap on the trade, I can see my entry price, I can see my stop loss, and I can see my take profit. I can also see that my trade is currently in profit. You see, guys, my phone is making money for me as we speak. You may have noticed that when we first entered the trade, we started in negative immediately. Okay. This is because of something called the spread. Again, I believe it's not really worth talking about the spread at such an early stage, but I just wanted to give you an example of how we enter a trade on MetaTrader. Now, guys, we're going to do some other examples. So we're going to leave this trade running, okay? And we're going to do some other examples. We're going to do an example of a buy stop and the sell stop. So let me stop sharing the screen for a moment, okay? And come back to sharing this. So this is the trade we took now. This is the trade we took now. Something like this, okay? Something like this. Now, I want to give you guys an example of a sell stop. So with the sell stop, I'm expecting that if the price of Euro USD comes down to here, it will keep dropping. So guys, please, on a piece of paper, thank you. On a piece of paper, we're going to write down these three numbers. The entry price in gray. So please write down your entry of 1.04880. The stop loss is right here in red, 1.05, sorry, 1.05228, 1.05228, and our take profit is 1.04208. So this is an example of a sell stop. We can take our time, right? Because the market price is nowhere close to our entry. This is the good thing about pending orders, is that you can take your time with them. So let's take a look. Oh, we have a question here. Entry price is what? So the entry price is right here in gray, 1.04880. So guys, let's check this. The stop loss on this pending order will be 34.8 pips. Let's make it 35, okay? 34.8, well, more or less 35 pips. So now we're going to come on to our position size calculator. Euro USD, dollar, $3,000 account, 2% risk, and this time we're risking 35 pips. So now it tells me that I can enter this trade at 0.17 lots. So let's go back to our MetaTrader app. Okay. Let's go back to the MetaTrader app. I'm going to my quotes page. The quotes page is right here. You need to push this icon at the lower left of the screen. Find Euro USD, tap it once, click on new order. And now this time, first of all, we need to put in our new lot size of 0.17. So first thing we're going to do, put in the lot size of 0.17 before we forget. Once you've put in your lot size of 0.17, I want you to tap on market execution. And I want you to choose the option sell stop. Now notice that something has changed on the interface. We have a new line, and the new line is price. This has just appeared. Why? Because we're not entering this trade at market execution. We're not entering this trade at the current market price. We are entering this trade only if it comes down to 1.04880. Now our stop loss is 1.05228, and our take profit is 1.04208. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to check that everything on your phone looks like what you're seeing on screen. So to be clear, we have our entry price, 1.04880. We have our lot size of 0.17. We have the sell stop option chosen. We have our stop loss, which is higher than our entry price because we're selling. And we have a take profit, which is lower than our entry price, again, because we are selling. If everything on your phone looks like this, you can now come to the bottom of the screen where you find the button place and press place. Okay, so what you're seeing on screen now is the trade we entered at market execution and an order at the bottom, which will only activate if the price of Euro USD drops to 1.04880. Can I get a yes in the chat if this is clear and if you have managed to do what I'm doing? Let me take a look at the chat. Yes, yes, yes. It's clear, and yes, okay, good. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Good. So guys, that is an example of how to place a pending order. Now, we've done it with a sell stop. So I think we should try now a sell limit or a buy limit. So let's go back to the charts. Let's go back to the charts. So this is our trade at market execution, and this is our pending order for a sell stop. So let's imagine, for the sake of argument, that I believe price will come down to this zone here, and then shoot up again. So in this case, I'm going to put in a pending order for a buy limit. Remember, a buy limit is when we expect the price to come down before going up. And once again, let's take note of our entry price, our stop loss, and take profit. So entry price is in gray. Write it down. The entry price is 1.04871. The stop loss is down here in red, 1.04860. And the take profit is up there in green, 1.05738. So step one is plot your trade. Step two is calculate the stop loss. In this case, 20.9. Let's make that 21 pips. We have a 21 pip stop loss. So step three is time to come to the position size calculator. Make sure we're on Euro USD with the US dollar account, if that is your demo account, with your $3,000 account size, if that is your account size, 2% risk, and this time we have a 21 pip stop loss. So we're going to calculate. Once again, we're risking $60. Except this time, our lot size is 0.29 lots. So off we go to MetaTrader. Okay, we're going to go to the quotes page. We're going to find Euro USD. We're going to click on new order. We're going to change the option from market execution to buy limit. We're going to change the lot size to 0.29. We're going to change the price to 1.04871. We're going to change the stop loss to 1.04860. Oh, by the way, guys, top tip, if you want to get to the price quicker, notice that next to the zeros, you have a plus sign. Instead of typing in all the number manually, I want you to press that plus sign. And immediately it gives you current market price, 1.05233. So we don't want that. We want 1.05738. But now, instead of putting in the whole number, I just need to adjust the last numbers at the end. So I hope you find that tip helpful. So I'm going to leave that on screen for a moment. Take a look at it. Make sure that your phones look identical. Buy limit, 0.29 lots. Price, 1.04871. Stop loss, 1.04860. And take profit, 1.05738. When that is done, press place. And now our order is open. So as you can see, we still only have one trade running. The other two are pending. And again, in this particular case, if one activates, both will activate, okay? Because if you notice, our buy limit and our sell stop are more or less at the same price. So of course, one of them will go the wrong way because we're in one situation, we're expecting the price to keep dropping. In the other situation, we're expecting the price to go up. So in fact, we will delete these pending orders because I just wanted to show you an example of a buy limit and a sell stop. And if you understand the sell stop, you should de facto understand the buy stop. And if you understand the buy limit, you should de facto understand a sell limit. Now I'm going to teach you two more things. And that is how to manage a trade and how to protect your trade. So let me get away from MetaTrader for a moment and let's go back to the charts. So let me do this. Let me do this. Hold on. My mistake. I keep making the same mistake. Let me do this. So guys, let's imagine, okay, for the sake of argument, that we were looking at the current price of Euro US dollar, and I identified a very good sell. So I enter the market at this price. I put my stop loss slightly above the previous high, and I put my take profit down here. So let's imagine this is my trade. Now the trade starts moving. When I see something like this, so let's pay attention. We're going for 120 pip take profit. Once the price of Euro USD hits here, 60 pips. So remember, the whole trade is 120 pips. 60 pips is halfway there. Now, this is a risk management strategy that I personally use very frequently. So where I've drawn this red line is exactly halfway between my entry price and the take profit. Now, remember what we talked about yesterday. With my team, we never risk more than 2% of our account, right? Now, in this particular example, the trade, my stop loss was, let's make it 30 pips, okay? Let's just make it easier. So let's say my stop loss was 30 pips, and 30 pips is 2% of my account. So if my trade is 60 pips in profit, by how much am I up? I'm risking 2%, and 2% is 30 pips. If my trade is now 60 pips in profit, by how much am I up in percentage? I've opened, I'm waiting for answers in the chat. That wasn't a rhetorical question. 4. Anyone else? So 30 pips is 2% of my account. If I'm up 60 pips, that's twice 30. Therefore, it's twice 2. So you are correct. I am 4% in profit. So let's imagine, guys, let's imagine I am risking 2% of my account with a 30 pip stop loss. 2% of my account with a 30 pip stop loss. So imagine that I entered this trade as at 0.2 lots. 2% risk equals 0.2 lot size, lots. 30 pip stop loss is 2% risk. So my first target is 60 pips. And at 60 pips, I'm 4% in profit. Are you following me so far? 30 pips stop loss, 2% risk, but now I'm 60 pips in profit, so I'm up 4%. Now, one thing you can do when you're already in profit in such a way, I mean, first of all, you can close your trade early and be happy that you made 4%. But if you were trying to get 8% out of this, you can either not do anything and wait to see what happens, or you could close part of your trade. To close part of your trade, and I'm going to show you how to do this, of course, to close part of your trade means to close some of your position, but not all of it. So if I close half my trade, I'm going to cash out half of the profit. So if instead of 0.2 lots, I close 0.1 lots and leave 0.1 lots still running, this is what I'm going to do. If I close half of my trade when I'm 60 pips in profit, I'm going to bank 2%, half of the 4%. So in a way, you'll understand, when I entered the trade, I was risking 2% of my account, and I was now 4% up. By closing half my trade, I'm now risking 1% of my account, but instead of being 4% up, I'm up 2%. So if I close half of my trade, I've banked 2%. No one can take that away from me unless market price comes up and hits my stop loss. In which case, I'll only lose 1%. So that would make me 1% richer anyway. But the smart thing to do as a trader is to get yourselves into a risk-free trade. How do I do that? Well, if I move my stop loss from where it was to my entry price, and I'm going to show you how to do this on MetaTrader. If I move my stop loss to my entry price, the worst thing that can happen to me now is that I'm already up 2%. Because if the market decides to come back up, it will kick me out of the trade at the same price at which I entered in the first place. So I lose nothing. But remember that I already made 2%. I already closed half my trade, 2% in profit. The best thing that can happen to me, of course, is that price keeps going down and I make even more money. Now, this is a sensible risk management strategy. However, it means that I will make less than 8% because I closed half my trade. So it's something that you need to weigh as traders. What do I want more? To make more profits, but keep the risk there? Or to make less profits, but ensure that I can no longer lose money? That's a decision, that's a personal decision. It's a decision that you'll have to take. I can tell you now, I have been very frustrated in the past when I protected a trade by moving my stop loss to entry, and the market kicked me out of the trade at entry and then continued going the right way. In fact, let's look at what happens with this one. No, you see, so at no point had I moved my stop loss to entry, would I have been at risk of getting kicked out of my trade. And in fact, this one went all the way to take profit. What happens when price reaches the bottom of your green zone? Your trade closes automatically and you will have made money. Remember, in this particular case, the risk to reward ratio was 4. So if we're risking 2%, 2 times 4 is 8, we would have made 8% on that trade. If, however, you chose to cash a little bit of your trade to ensure that you made money and you can't lose anymore by protecting your trade in this way, you would have made less than 8%. In this particular case, you would have made 6%. How do I know you'd have made 6%? Well, imagine that this trade was split and we're risking 1% in one trade and 1% in the other. Now with this trade, as you can see now, the risk to reward ratio is 2. So I'm risking 1% for 2%. 1% for 2%. So over here, I'm 2% richer. Over here, I'm risking 1% for 4%. Risk to reward ratio of 4. So in total, if I split the trade, I can make 2% plus 4%, that's 6%. On the other hand, if I only risk 2% and never split the trade, 2 times 4 is 8. So I would have made 8%. So again, guys, that is the fundamental difference between protecting a trade or letting your trade be, leaving your trade be, to see whether it hits your target. Now I'm going to jump onto MetaTrader and show you how we do this in practice. So once again, get your MetaTraders out. And let's take a look. First of all, let's delete the pending orders, guys, okay? So press and hold Euro USD buy limit, click on delete order and press delete. Press and hold Euro USD, sell stop, press delete order and press delete. So as you can see, whilst I've been talking, my money has been making money for me. Okay, I'm 10 euro richer since we entered this trade. And now, guys, I'm going to show you how to do what I just showed you to do on TradingView. Please pay attention. And of course, that this session is recorded, so you'll be able to rewind it if you don't understand. So I'm going to press and hold Euro USD, and I'm going to press close order. Pay attention to this point. At the top of my screen, I entered this trade at 0.1 lots, if you remember. Now, what I'm going to do in this example is I'm going to close half of my trade, like I explained. So I'm going to the top where my lot size is. I'm going to delete 0.1, and I'm going to put in 0.05. That is half of my trade. My lot size was 0.1. Half of 0.1 is 0.05. And I'm going to click close with profits. Done. So what happened? Where did my 10 euro gone? Why has it become 5? Because I've banked half the trade. So if you go to this part of your MetaTrader, hold on. If you go to this part of your MetaTrader, right here, sorry, I mean here, the history, the fourth icon. If you click on that icon, you'll get this. So these are the trades that I closed. Is it today? Today, here. These are the trades that I closed today. And you'll notice that my Euro USD is closed. So to be clear, guys, that is in my broker account. It's safe. But if I go back to my trade, this is the trade that's still running. Now, this is not risk-free yet. I've only closed part of it. So how do I make it risk-free? I have to move my stop loss to entry. What is my entry? My entry is the static price on the left-hand side, 1.05264. So what I'm going to do now is press and hold Euro USD. I'm going to click on modify order. I'm going to come to the stop loss, and I'm going to put in 1.05264. This was my entry price. If your entry price is different, make sure you put in your entry price. So to be clear, guys, now I'm going to click modify at the bottom of my screen. To be clear, guys, there is no way now that I can lose money. Zero. Because the worst thing that can happen to me, so let me show you what I'm looking at here. So do you see this red line over here? The horizontal red line. Actually, let me take my spotlight out. This horizontal red line is the price at which I entered the trade. This is current market price. We're selling, so I'm in profit. Now I've moved my stop loss. To my entry price. So the worst thing that can happen to me now is price comes back up, hits that horizontal red line, and I get kicked out of the trade. But hey, I made €5. I can't lose. Remember that with this particular example, we were willing to lose $60. Now I can't lose. It's possible that I won't make any more than $5. I mean, I would never have got out of this trade so soon. I just wanted to give you an example of how to manage a trade. Okay, I think I can stop sharing. I think I can stop sharing. Excuse me. So guys, just to recap, in today's session, I showed you the difference between taking trades at market execution. I taught you the pending orders, buy stop, buy limit, sell limit. I showed you how to put in trades in MetaTrader, both at market execution and as pending orders. And I showed you how to manage your trades to make sure that you protect yourselves. This brings us to an end of day 2 of the workshop. I'm going to stop the recording now, and I really, really hope to get some questions from you. So hold on, let me stop the recording. For those of you watching the recording, please don't forget to watch part 3 coming out tomorrow.